Hey everyone, I'm Matt with Ozark Overland Adventures, and on this video I want to talk about the brand new MXT500 Micromobile radio from Midland. This is probably the most anticipated radio that Midland has put out in quite a while because it's their first 50 watt radio. Now 50 watts is the highest power that the FCC will allow you to use on GMRS channels, and it has a lot of advantages, and the fact that Midland is now putting out a 50 watt radio is a big deal. Before, the 40 watt radio was the highest powered radio they had.
Ozark Overland Adventures is proudly supported by the More Expo, the Midwest's only indoor event for adventure travel enthusiasts. Artemis Overland Hardware. They have the passion and knowledge to ensure that your next outdoor experience is more than a camping trip, it's an adventure. And Long Creek Overland, your source for Ozark Overland Adventures merchandise and more.
Now, when it comes to trail comms, there's a lot of options these days. You've got everything from cheap, walkie-talkie style radios like FRS radios that you can just go into Walmart or Academy or any place like that and pick up for under $50 for a 2-pack. And FRS works great if you are in a tight group and don't need a lot of range. It's not a bad solution. It's super small, portable. This is a GMRS version of a little handheld radio. This is Midland's X-Talker XT90 or XT900. I can't remember. But this is a fantastic radio that has good range. It performs well. I use this when I'm getting out of my vehicle to spot or maybe walk around camp, that sort of thing. But I've been very impressed with these X-Talkers, and they do really good. The downside is you better have either extra batteries or a way to charge this if you're going to be out on the trail all day long or even on an overnight trip, because they do eat through the batteries pretty good if you're using these all day long. Another option is ham or amateur radio. That's a niche that there's just some diehard fans that love ham radios. I don't choose to run that because you really got to get into the whole programming aspect and really tuning those things, and it's a niche product for people who really love to tinker with radio stuff. I mean, hands down, they have the longest range. There's the most repeaters out there, but it's a very specialized product that I think scares a lot of people away. The other option is CB, and we all know CB. If I've ran a CB in my Jeeps for years, but they're a pain in the butt. I mean, you have to really get the antenna tuning just right, and that's a whole science in and of itself that I just honestly didn't want to mess with. So a couple years ago, me and my friends discovered GMRS, and honestly haven't looked back. Ripped the CB out of my rig because I hadn't used it in a long time, and now I just carry GMRS radios, and now specifically Midland. There is just something about the ease of use with GMRS radios. They kind of fill a void between just the super simplicity and limited capabilities of FRS radios and the range and tweakability and everything of ham radios, and GMRS kind of fits in the middle. You can do with GMRS like you do with ham. There are people out there that love that side of GMRS, but I'm not one of those guys. And most of the people that I see asking questions in all the Facebook groups and stuff that I'm in, I don't think they're those type of people either. The great thing about the Midland radios is they very much are just plug and play. This is the everyday person's trail comms option. They're just super simple. There's no antenna tuning. There's no programming involved. You just find a place to mount it, you plug it in, and it just works. And that's what I love about it, because I'm not the kind of guy, I care nothing about tinkering with all the settings and all the privacy codes and hitting repeaters and all that sort of stuff, which these can do. But all I want to do is to be able to have crystal clear communications with my buddies on the trail and have good range in doing so. And that is what these radios are absolutely perfect for. They have a number of options. I've got this one. It was my very first one. It's the MXT115. As you can see, it is nice and compact. It is a 15-watt radio. They have another one that's the exact same radio called the MXT275. That's what my wife has in her Grand Cherokee. And it has all the controls on the microphone, which some people love that because you can take this little part and hide it away up in the glove box under the dash somewhere and then just have your microphone sitting out. Like I said, that's what my wife has in her Grand Cherokee. I had one in my black JK for a while, and it is a fantastic radio. And so if you don't need high power, if you're just working in close proximity and don't care about range, the 115 and the 275, fantastic radios. I did want more range because there are times when, one of us may leave camp or, get separated. We may need to split off and do something. So I wanted the extra range. So I moved up to the MXT400. And this has served me well for a long time. You may remember a video where I swapped out my MXT400 for another brand's radio, for a Rugged Radio's GMR 45. It was a 45-watt radio, and I thought, 5 more watts, that would be better. And I mean, as you can see, I went back to the MXT400 because that radio, it didn't do so hot. I didn't like it. My friends had trouble hearing me. It just didn't do well. So went back to the MXT400 and have not regretted it. But there were some things that the MXT400 didn't have that I missed, that even radios like the little 115 had. And that's access to the NOAA weather channels, which, depending on your environment, how long of a trip you're on, that could be a big deal to have access to the NOAA weather channels when you're out off the grid. And, we've got so many things that we carry with us that we need to keep charged. Just about everything these days that we carry is rechargeable. The flashlights, our headlamps, of course, all of our cameras and batteries and that sort of thing. And I love the fact that this had the USB port on it. So, if I needed to charge a GoPro, or if I needed to charge a headlamp or a flashlight or something, I had an extra USB port in the vehicle here. The MXT400 didn't have any USB ports, and it didn't have access to NOAA channels, which I missed. So when they announced the MXT500, I got real excited because the NOAA channels were back in a high-powered radio, and not only does it have a USB port, it has a high wattage USB-C port. So I could even plug an iPad into this and charge it, or keep my laptop running off of this if need be, because it's got a 37-watt USB-C port. But that's the realm of the Midland Micromobiles. Focusing on this because this is what is going in my Gladiator, and I am super pumped about it. Let's see what's in this thing and see what all you get. Let's see, you get a power cord. Now, we'll say one thing about the higher wattage, the MXT400 and the MXT50, or the MXT500, is with the smaller ones, where's that power cable? There it is. With the smaller ones, you have the option of just plugging it into a cigarette lighter, and boom, you're done. No wiring needed on the MXT115 and the 275. On the 400 and the 500, because they are higher powered radios, they do need to be hardwired to the battery. So this is the power cable, and as you can see, it just has wire ends on it. So you do need to run this through your firewall to your battery, or if you've got an auxiliary battery, whatever, you do need to run this to the battery, crimp on some terminals to allow that to happen. So that's the only thing that makes this maybe a little bit more complicated to install than something like the 115 or the 275, is the fact that you got to run power to the battery because it is a higher powered radio. Let's see, you get a quick start guide, and that's how simple this is. It's, if you want to get started and just be off and going, that's all it takes. It is that simple. If you want to get in more detail, they've got this guide. You can program this just like you could a different brand GMRS or a ham radio. You can get into all those details if you want to. I don't want to. I'm not going to demo that. There's other channels that have, but that's not my jam. So you get a sticker, so yay for that. You get the microphone, and this is like the 115 and the 400, where the microphone is just a microphone. You can change the channels on it, but it is just a microphone. There is another version of this that is coming out probably the end of the summer that is like the 275, where all the controls are on the microphone. You can take the main head unit, hide it out of the way. I know a lot of people are anticipating that. Where I keep my radio, I don't care. I actually like having a small lightweight handheld, and this is within easy access, so that's not a big deal to me. You get a mount for the microphone that you have the option of throwing it off the desk. It's just a little plastic microphone mount with a latch, so it does kind of lock in place there. And you can either screw this into your dash if you want to, or it comes with adhesive to stick it to your dash if you want to. This one does come with a different antenna mount. I mean, this one is beefy. It has this massive magnet that comes with it, and lots of antenna cord here. If I can, it is currently 25 degrees outside, so my hands are a little bit numb and not working as well as they normally do. There we go. But it has this really big magnet. Now, if you're wheeling a vehicle with a metal roof, this is a great option. Unfortunately, this doesn't do me any good because fiberglass. And even up here on the body, that's metal, but my hood is aluminum. So this doesn't do me a lot of good. Luckily for me, I've already got everything wired, so I don't have to deal with it. I've already got the antenna and everything installed. So for me, it's just a matter of, I took this out, I can pop that in. Super simple. But I do love the fact that they put this really strong magnet in there with it, and it's got the threads for the antennas. They do give you the option, and I might consider this, of this adhesive metal disc. So if I want to run it up on my roof, I can take this metal disc with 3M adhesive on the back and use that as my, I should have done that. Use that as my antenna mount. Whew. That sticks hard. But I have that option, so I may consider that. But I love the fact that they are sensitive to us Jeep owners with fiberglass tops, so we can have the magnet option. It does come with this antenna, which is just like the little antennas that come with the other radios. Here it is. This is what the other ones come with. This is also magnetic, but just a little antenna. It actually does fine. No complaints out of it, but I do have the 3 dB gain ghost antenna, and so I'll be using that. But I love the fact this also just screws on to all these mounts, so a lot of different antennas will work. It comes with this mount, which gives you multiple angles and stuff to be able to put it at different angles, that sort of thing, and lots of different options for places to screw it in there. And then finally is the radio itself. I mean, you can sell, it's a good size piece of machinery here. It is widthwise the same size as the MXT500. Lengthwise, it's the same as the MXT500, but thickness-wise, the 500 is just a hair thicker than the 400, so it's just ever slightly bigger. And on the front here, you've got your microphone connection, which is not the standard RJ45 network cable style connections that you find on all the other radios. This one's, I don't even know what that connection's called, but the multi-pin, you screw it in. And then it's got the USB-C port right here on the front. This port, by default, comes set to just be one way where it sends power out from the radio. By default, no communication can come into the radio, so if you want to program it, but that is a setting you can easily change once you get it powered on and stuff. So you can plug your computer into this and download the software and tweak all the things. On the back, it has this accessory plug, antenna, power connection here, and then an option here for an external microphone. I do have an external microphone in my Jeep, and we'll see how the volume compares, but I like my external microphone. It's right there on the dash in front of me, so I can always hear my friends loud and clear. But we'll see how this microphone works. But I mean, that's it in a nutshell. It is IP66 weather rated, so it is dust proof, and it is water resistant, a little above water resistant. Can withstand jets of water being sprayed on it. It's not designed to be submerged. So if you're a Jeep owner and you love going out with the top and doors off, you don't have to worry if you get caught in a rainstorm. But if you're a side-by-side owner or UTV owner and concerned about electronics like this getting wet, this one's IP66 rated, so it will do great in your side-by-side or UTV, or, you know, that this isn't just for overlanding. If you've got a tractor or, you know, farm equipment, that sort of thing, this is perfect for that. Like all the Midland Micromobile radios, this has 15 GMRS channels, some lower band that can communicate with FRS radios, and higher bands that are GMRS only. It can hit repeaters, it has privacy codes, lots of ways that you can tinker with this and get the maximum amount of performance out of this. Like I said at the beginning, I'm just a normal guy. All I care about is putting this in my rig, plugging it in, turning it on, and being able to have crystal clear communications with my friends out on the trail. And this will let me do that. So let's get this installed in the Jeep. It's going to be super simple for me because I've already got just about everything run. I did have to clip the power cable, and so I'm going to just use some butt connectors and tie this into the previous wiring that I had in there for the MXT500, because they changed the connector down here, probably for the better. It's this type of really more waterproof connector here as opposed to this one. So because they changed connectors, I couldn't just immediately unplug and, you know, unplug this one and plug this one in. I do have to modify the wiring just a touch, but that's super easy to do, and I've already got the wires pulled out to do so. So let's get this installed. The first thing I'm going to do is run the wire. I keep my mount right there on the side of the center console, so it's super easy for me to reach. And my pass-through through the firewall is on the driver's side. This is my wiring for the MXT500, so I'm just going to cut this, add a couple butt connectors to it, and we'll be good to go. And then just run the wiring up under here, under this piece to the other side, and I should have plenty of wiring to not have any issues. I'm going to save that piece because there is a chance the MXT500 is going to go in my wife's vehicle, and I'll take out her 275. TBD, I don't have her authorization on that yet. This is not the easiest thing to do when your hands are borderline numb. Now this is fused. It has a 15 amp fuse in here, so I do want to keep this up in here. If I ever have a situation where I blow a fuse, I want to be able to access it pretty easily, so tucking it up under here will make that easy to access. All right, that's done. Now just tuck the wiring and pass it over. There. So I'm just tucking this wire down in here, up behind the dash here, behind the center console piece here. That way it stays hidden and out of the way. And I can run it right under here. And there's plenty of extra wire here to do that. My antenna is already run. My auxiliary speaker is already there. So if this were a clean install, a brand new install, I just have to figure out where to mount this bracket. But because the MXT400 and 500 use the exact same bracket, my bracket's already mounted. All I've got to do now is connect this. And I have to go ahead and plug in my external speaker. Connect the antenna. And then slide that in the mount. That at the angle I want it. I think that's good. And then tighten it down. All right, and it's just that easy. Let me connect this to this. Let's see if we have power. Bingo. All right, let me get my microphone done. I do like the fact that the new microphone is screwed in, so there's no chance of it coming out again. That's handy. I mean, you just can't get an easier install than that. All right, so let's go through the menu settings here. Nice bright screen. If you can see that on the camera, there we go. Simple dial here to adjust your channels. Menu button is here. Here you can change your power for each individual channel. I think channels 15 through 22 are all high powered. 1 through 7 are all low power for FRS. Turn that volume down. And on these channels, you can adjust power from high, medium, and low. And I'm going to leave those on high for sure. This is where you can activate the computer access, mute, repeaters on and off. I'm going to leave that off for now. Set your squelch. Change your color. So cyan, yellow, purple, red, green. All right, well, y'all know I love purple, so I'm going to change that to purple. Lamp. Ooh, you can make that real bright. I like that. All right, I mean, that's super easy. And I'm not going to get into all the details there because honestly, like I said, I'm one of the guys who, I don't care about all the stuff. I just want this to work. You can scan for people talking on channels. You can monitor a channel. Here's your NOAA access.
Your National Weather Service forecast for the Morrilton area. Today, sunny. Highs in the mid-40s. West winds 5 miles an hour in the morning.
I mean, as far as installing a GMRS radio to have comms when you're out on the trail, with the exception of running the power to the battery, it just doesn't get any easier than that. Obviously, I will be doing more long-term testing of this thing. I'm here by myself, so I don't have anyone to do any type of range testing or anything like that. Although I will shout out on Midland's website, on Trail Recon's YouTube channel, I think, he did some testing, some range testing at the Grand Canyon with 2 MXT500s, or I think one was a 525, and it was fantastic, the range they were getting around the Grand Canyon. So I have really high confidence that this is going to perform great. I do have a trip coming up this coming weekend. It's our annual, we call it the Cold Water Run. Me and my friends will be out, so that'll be my first time to really put this radio to the test. They've all got MXT 275s in their rigs, or 115s. So I'll be the only one with the 500, but I'll be curious to know how well they can hear me, how far apart we can get for them to hear me. So hit the subscribe button and be notified when that video comes out, because I'll be talking about the MXT500 in that video, I'm sure. And how it does receiving, how well I can hear them is huge. Speaking of Midland, there is an event coming up. It is the MORE Expo, the Midwest Overlanding Off-Road Expo in Springfield, Missouri. It's April 8th, 9th, and 10th at the Ozark Empire Fairgrounds there. It is the largest indoor, and actually they've added outdoor this year, off-road overlanding expo in the country. This is their third year to do it. It has grown exponentially each year, and this year is going to be bonkers. So if you are not planning to come to the MORE Expo, you need to make plans to come to the MORE Expo. I mean, it's in Springfield, Missouri, right in the middle of the country. So no matter where you are, it's not too far of a drive. And no matter how far you have to drive, I can guarantee you it will be worth it. The amount of vendors they have this year is unreal. They're doing a lot of cool things. I'm teaching a class there on Gaia GPS, so come hang out with me. And it's going to be amazing. And if you don't have your tickets yet, I have a coupon code for you that will get you 20% off your tickets. It's Ozark ADV, OZARK ADV 20. Use that coupon code at checkout and you'll get 20% off your tickets to the MORE Expo. So no excuses. I mean, can't afford it. 20% off. It's too far away. No, it's not. It's in the middle of the country. You can make it. So come to the MORE Expo. Midland is actually one of the key sponsors of that event. So that's how cool of an event it is. A company like Midland is one of the key sponsors for that. And you'll be able to, see these radios there, get your hands on them, talk to Midland about them to help make the best choice for you. But super great place to do that. So come, MORE Expo, April 8th, 9th, and 10th in Springfield, Missouri. What else? We've got some fantastic trips coming up. We've got our cold water run. We're doing something else in February. March, we're going to Kentucky. We're going to hit Yellowstone in May. And then Colorado this summer. We've got, and who knows what else we'll do between now and then. But we've got some amazing things coming up. So hit that subscribe button, hit the bell icon so you're notified when that stuff comes out. I've got a lot of other gear reviews, more stuff going on with the tank, the Conqueror UEV 490. Loving that thing. So lots of great stuff coming up this year on the channel, and we're super pumped. If you want to support us in a tangible way, there's 3 ways to do that. One is through our Patreon. We share all of our GPS data that way. We do some special things for our patrons. We do get-togethers with our patrons twice a year. So check that out. This channel really depends on them. We love them, and thank you so much for your support if you are a patron and watching this. Another way is through our merchandise. This hoodie has served me well today in these temperatures. LongCreekOverland.com is where you can get that. And then third, all the links you'll find in the video description, including the link to Midland's website, they're affiliate links, which means if you click on that link and then purchase a radio from Midland or stuff from Amazon, whatever, I get, I don't know, like a 3-4% commission off those things. And if you're shopping for Midland radios, down there is a coupon code, Ozark 10, I believe it is. Check down there, make sure. Ozark 10, you can get 10% off Midland products. The new MXT500s they're not on special right now because they're new. But anything else, accessories, whatever, Ozark 10 will get you 10% off. And I think that's about it. I appreciate you taking the time to watch this. Let me know in the comments what you think about this new radio. I'm super pumped about it. And I'll see you next time. Bye.